All right, let's take you now directly to Prayagraj as well as Varanasi, where today, viewers, the largest gathering in the world culminates on the day of Mahashivratri. It is the final holy dip at the Maha Kumbh as well, and after that, that city within a city is going to dismantle itself only to be assembled again 12 years from now, where the Maha Kumbh comes into question. I want to take you through of some of the firsts that have taken place. We'll give you the graph in terms of the numbers that have attended the Maha Kumbh. Let's take you through that. Now, this is stunning, viewers. Over the years, where every Maha Kumbh is concerned, from the last, and I'm just looking at the last Maha Kumbh, and I remember I covered that at Trimbakeshwar in 2013. It was 12 crore people had attended the Trimbakeshwar Maha Kumbh. Look at that staggering number on your television screen. Over 65 crores that have attended the Maha Kumbh this time. Just sheer numbers is astounding. Let me get you the economics of it all. Now, Kumbh 2013, the government expenditure, and I'm comparing it to the last Kumbh again, was 1,017 crores. The revenue generated at that time was 12,000 crores. Kumbh 2019, which was an Ardh Kumbh, the government expenditure was 2,112 crores. Revenue generated 1.2 lakh crores. Let's now completely come down to the 2025 Maha Kumbh at Prayagraj. The expected, we're giving you a ballpark figure, and it's definitely going to rise, is 1,017 crores. This will rise when an actual turnover takes place. But look at the revenue earned, 2 lakh crores up till now, because in all probability, that number could also rise. If you're asking us, these are all government numbers, but, it couldn't be really, very far away from that figure where it comes down to the footfall or even the economy that was generated where the Maha Kumbh was concerned. I want to cut across right now to Piyush Mishra, who's joining us from Varanasi, because a lot of the crowds who have gone to the Maha Kumbh actually, go to Varanasi, and that is where they end their spiritual journey or their journey of faith, at least in the trajectory of these holy dates. But first up, Santosh Sharma joining us from Prayagraj. Santosh, it's all coming together today. The biggest leveler, where the largest gathering of mankind coming in, closing today. Now, from today, are we going to see everything, where the city which had come together within the city of Prayagraj being dismantled, or it's going to be another couple of days because the rush of people is quite a bit?
It will take a couple of days for the to decrease, or we can say the devotees will still continue to come to the Prayagraj, because some of the devotees are on their way for taking a holy dip in Sangam and Triveni area. And why I'm saying, you can see the visuals, the flow of the crowd that is coming and that is going back. And within 24 hours, we can say that more than 90 trains are going to come in Prayagraj, and 200 trains, special trains are deployed for taking all the devotees to their homes. So this is the large number of crowd that is coming and going out of the Prayagraj, and this will take a couple of days. Although today is the last day, or we can say the last day of Mahakumbh, and tomorrow the CM of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, will also will participate in get together with police personnel and the sanitation workers, those who have participated in this whole Kumbh, and due to which the sanitation work, the law and order was done. That's the reason tomorrow the CM Yogi Adityanath will come and
very quickly get us some reactions right behind you, and I'll cut across to Piyush and then back to our guests in the studio. Go to the people behind you, very eager to talk.
Yeah, I'm taking the reactions. कहाँ से आए?
सर हम नांदेड़ से आए, नांदेड़ मार्ग से।
कैसा रहा? अभी और भी दिन चलना चाहिए कुंभ? अभी भीड़ जिस तरीके से लग रही है कि लगातार आती रहेगी।
बिल्कुल आती रहेगी। मैं दिल्ली से आया हूँ, बहुत बड़े अरेंजमेंट है, वेरी गुड अरेंजमेंट।
कितना किलोमीटर चलना पड़ा?
अबाउट 3 किलोमीटर, ज्यादा नहीं हाँ बहुत बढ़िया था।
महाकुंभ चलना चाहिए ऐसा हमारी इच्छा है, लेकिन जो आस्था का जो जोशुआ है तो महाशिवरात्रि 13 जनवरी से 26 फरवरी तक है, इसको बढ़ाया नहीं जा सकता। लेकिन हमारी इच्छा है कि महाकुंभ और बढ़ना चाहिए, लेकिन आस्था का विषय है, धर्म का विषय है, तो इसे बढ़ा नहीं जा सकता। काफी लोगों ने इसका लाभ लिया है।
भीड़ तो लगातार आ रही है,
बट लोगों की आस्था जो है अटूट है, और ये जो माहौल है यहाँ पे आस्था का और मिलन का, कम्युनिटी का, आई थिंक वो बहुत ही बढ़िया है।
कहाँ से आए हैं?
बिहार मुजफ्फरपुर।
बिहार से। तो ये लगातार जो भीड़ है, और कैसा लगा यहाँ का अनुभव? और अभी भीड़ कम होगी क्या लगता है कि श्रद्धालु अभी रुक जाएंगे आज के समापन के बाद?
नहीं, अभी और भीड़ होगी और बढ़ेगी। भीड़ बढ़ेगी सर, भीड़ जरूर बढ़ेगी। भीड़ बढ़ने की जरूर वजह यह है कि ये महाकुंभ
सर, महाकुंभ हर 5 साल 6 साल में होना चाहिए, ऐसा ही।
Okay. All right. Thank you, Santosh, for joining us. I'm going to come right back to you. You know, the fact is, viewers, one must look at it. There have been many controversies, and there have been many deaths as well. But when you look at it on a larger scale, the culmination of the Maha Kumbh is the coming together. It has to be the biggest leveler. Caste, class, identity, all merge into one when it comes down to that riverbed there. I want to cut across to Piyush. Piyush, a lot of the crowd surge from Prayagraj goes onwards to Banaras at the Kashi Vishwanath temple, and today I'm sure it's ringing with the chants of Har Har Mahadev.
Well, absolutely, Preeti. It's not only the culmination of Maha Kumbh, but also the celebrations of Maha Shivratri. Those are taking place across the country. In fact, people after taking holy dip in Prayagraj have come to Varanasi to seek the blessings of Lord Mahashiv. Right behind me, you can also see the preparations. Those have been done here by the administration. That is the main entry gate, gate number 4 of Shri Kashi Vishwanath Dham, and you can see how it has been decorated using different kinds of lights by the administration. People have come here from different parts of the country. Let me try to get a word from them and understand the sentiments that those are now going here. You can see how there is a sea of people which is right in front of gate number 4, and they want to seek one darshan of Lord Mahashiv. आप कहाँ से आए हैं और क्या आपने दर्शन कर लिए?
मैं गोरखपुर से आया हूँ।
गोरखपुर से आए।
हमें यहाँ पे आके बहुत ही अच्छा लगा। मैं प्रयागराज संगम में भी गया था, दर्शन किया, वहाँ भी बहुत अच्छा लगा। मेरे यशस्वी योगी जी मुख्यमंत्री और माननीय मोदी जी ने पूरे देश, पूरे विश्व को संदेश दे दिया कि सनातन धर्म इस तरीके से। मैं
कितनी देर में आपको दर्शन मिले?
यहाँ पे मुझको दर्शन समझिए 6 घंटे में मिले।
6 घंटे। आपने दर्शन कर लिए?
हाँ, दर्शन नहीं हुआ।
दर्शन नहीं हुआ? कब से आए हुए हैं?
मैं आज सुबह से।
आज सुबह से आए हैं, दर्शन नहीं हुआ अभी तक। आप दर्शन कब करेंगे?
करवाला का कृपा कब देते हैं उन्हें परमिशन, जब जाना।
आपने किए दर्शन? कैसी व्यवस्था लगी?
बहुत ही व्यवस्था है।
अच्छा, अच्छी व्यवस्था है।
हम दोनों एक ही साथ हैं।
ओके। कहाँ से आए आप?
हैदराबाद के। हम
हैदराबाद से।
हाँ।
मतलब सुबह से लाइन में लगे हैं। So you can see how excited people are, and they are standing in queues since morning, Preeti, but they have not got the opportunity to seek the blessings.
Okay. All right. Chants of Har Har Mahadev ringing out at Varanasi as well, viewers, because today the Maha Kumbh culminates on the day of Maha Shivratri. The Kumbh, what is really unique about the Kumbh is the fact that there is no god. The river is actually the god where Kumbh is concerned, and the river stands testimony on where the Kumbh takes place, on which the banks of which river. This time the river Ganga, and look at the Sangam, visuals of the Sangam there. Astounding. All right. But let's now move on, because there have been a lot of other questions that have been posed as well where it came down to the Kumbh, controversies of the Kumbh, what we really got out where the Kumbh was concerned. It has generated, at least for a brief while, a parallel economy in Prayagraj with a parallel city which was erected. So the questions that we ask this evening, where the Maha Kumbh was concerned, never witnessed before celebrations of India's spiritual heritage. Have we seen something, an event like this before, a religious event like this before? The other question that needs to be posed, has the Maha Kumbh put India on the global stage as the faith capital of the world? Or what some feel, excessive commercialization, VVIP culture, clickbait packaging, ruining the essence of the Maha Kumbh. Where it comes down to politics, has the Bharatiya Janata Party successfully leveraged the Maha Kumbh when it comes in for political gain? And somewhere down the line, did the opposition did nothing wrong in raising the mismanagement or the administrative failure, but somewhere did the opposition fail to differentiate the festival of Kumbh from administrative failure, where they seem to conflate the both? Has the Maha Kumbh firmly established BJP as a party of Hindus? Was the government clearly ill-equipped to handle the large number of visitors that came calling at the back of the call of the Kumbh? Let's cut across to our guest this evening, Nick Booker. Originally from the UK, took 6 Sangam Snans at the Kumbh and writing a book on Prayagraj. Nick, can I safely call you our resident Indophile?
Certainly can. Namaskar, Preeti.
Namaskar, Nick. And joining me as well is Karan Verma, political analyst, Ashutosh, political analyst, Ghansham Tiwari, spokesperson, Samajwadi Party, Radhika Khera, national spokesperson, BJP, Pooja Tripathi, national spokesperson, Congress. Before I get down to the politics of it all, let me just quickly cut across to Nick. Nick, first up, how was your experience? How many snans did I say? Six snans.
6 Sangam snans in the Triveni Sangam.
VVIP snans or the one with the public snans?
With the public. I mean, I think anyone who's fortunate enough to take a boat to the Sangam is a VIP in a sense. But I also walked on the Sangam nose with millions of people on several of those occasions. So I've done it from different directions. I'm very, very, very lucky.
What do you come back with?
Gratitude. Just immense gratitude. It was the most extraordinary month of my life. It was one series of extraordinary experiences after another. And the most important ones are the fact that, as you rightly said, at its purest level, this is taking a bath, taking a snan in 2 or 3 sacred rivers, coming together as one, underneath the sun, with the moon. So whether it's the Posh Purnima, whether it was Makar Sankranti, whether it was the Amavasya, you're aware of celestial cycles, you're aware of rivers that give life, you're aware of the sun that gives us light and life. It is extraordinarily powerful from a nature and that perspective. But the people that we were meeting on each of these occasions, and the ability to bring my wife and my 9-year-old daughter to the Sangam, to the Triveni Sangam, to bathe in those waters is something that obviously we will never forget as a family.
One quick question I'll ask you before we cut across to our other guests is, Nick, I'm sure you followed Indian culture, spirituality in the country for many, many years. You've been, this is your first Maha Kumbh, but you've been to the other Kumbhs before. So the question that I ask you is, how was this Kumbh different? Was it different at all? What's the messaging that's going, you're from the UK.
I mean, it's so hard to describe the differences. The scale, obviously, is beyond anything. I think what's really interesting about this Kumbh Mela is that this has been the least mediated Kumbh Mela. So we've had more people, hundreds of millions of people, who have a first-hand personal experience of going to Prayagraj as a Tirthyatri, visiting, taking a snan at the Sangam, and returning with their real lived experience. And we also have, thanks to technology, I was live on 5G, actually, in the Sangam on Instagram several times. So thanks to the technology, we were able to FaceTime, to WhatsApp video call, to record videos, to post them on social media. So unlike previous Kumbh Melas, which have either been mediated by the media, like yourself, or by writers, BBC correspondents, Chinese travelers, if we go back to the 7th century Shanzang, inscriptions of Samudragupta or Ashoka on pillars, or references to the Margi Melas, all of these references have been mediated. But this time, it is people themselves coming back all over India, all over the world, with stories of the Sangam and of their experience at Prayagraj.
Stay with me, Nick. Let me just open up the debate. Ashutosh, let me come to you on some of the big questions that, we've been posing here. There are 2 ways of looking at the Maha Kumbh, and where we get in the politics of it all, Ashutosh, in it, somewhere down the line, do you think that political parties, especially the opposition, conflated both the Maha Kumbh with administrative failure. They should have made that distinction, because when you're talking to people who are coming there, and they're coming there in droves, you know, the number of 64 crores, that's practically half of the Hindu population. Even if it's not 64 and closer to that, we're talking about a sizable population. And all of them coming in seem to be in ecstasy.
See, Preeti, I'm privileged in that sense because I had lived longer in Allahabad, so I had seen Kumbh, how this congregation has happened on such occasion. But unfortunate part is that today, that any religious function or any religious thing suddenly becomes very political. And fortunately or unfortunately, we have forgotten to make a distinction between the politics and the religion, or the spirituality and the politics around it. I will blame not only opposition but also the government. The government has also tried to politicize and tried to get the mileage out of it. And the kind of arrangement was done. Yes, certainly the good arrangements were made, but then the government also has to take the responsibility for the stampede and for the mismanagement. It cannot just happen that you take the responsibility for the good things done, but anything bad happens, then you just disown it or blame only to the opposition. Opposition has also been has to be a bit more sensitive about the feelings of the people. You just can't pass any comment here and there, and then you can ridicule somebody. I don't approve of that. But the fact of the matter is that whether it is opposition or the government, both are equally to be blamed. If the Yogi government wanted to package it as something which has never happened, I had lived in Allahabad. I know this, that the Kumbh has always been celebrated, and a large number of people had always come over there. But unfortunately, those were the days when social media was not there. The media was not so open. So obviously it couldn't be packaged that way. Or the government at that point of time never tried to package it or to promote themselves or to their political parties. That's the sad part of it. I think we have to learn to distinguish between the spirituality and the politics around it.
All right, Karan Verma, you know, now it does seem the Kumbh was appropriated by the Bharatiya Janata Party, and the opposition did itself no favors by using language which one would think, you know, made sense, because they were raising issues of mismanagement, of administrative failure, and you could see that the government really was ill-equipped to handle the kind of crowds, you know, that actually came into the Kumbh. But do you see the BJP, because, you know, you're living in the world of politics, and they've been able to leverage maximum mileage of this religious event?
So, Preeti, at the outset, let's for a minute understand this, that it is the biggest ever gathering. Ashutosh ji said that we've had big gatherings. Never have we seen something like this, 65 crore people. And the kind of temple economy, the spiritual economy that we are seeing, it's a new model today right at the front, where BJP says Vikas bhi, Virasat bhi. And it's a testament to that. The kind of visitors today we have in Ayodhya, in Varanasi, and now in the Maha Kumbh speaks volumes about that. When the opposition says Mrityu Kumbh, as Mamata Banerjee said, or as Lalu Prasad Yadav said, Kumbh faltu hai, it is not raising questions on the administration. If you want to raise questions on the administration, that's most welcome. Accountability must be welcome. But when you cast aspersions on an entire parampara and say it is faltu, or when Samajwadi Party uses words like chhapri, ye chhapri the jo wahan pe naha rahe the, that is derisive. That is where you are hurting sentiments. So you're not doing anyone good. And BJP, the fact is that if they've been able to, if the government, UP government has been able to pull this off, it is an achievement. Of course, there could be aberrations. There could be certain things which didn't go the right way. And that's unfortunate. There, the accountability needs to be fixed. But let's understand
but the accountability was not fixed, Karan Verma. I think that was one of the main contentions of the opposition. Allow me to open up the debate. I'll come right back to you, because you raised a point of the opposition, and I just want to pull out some images of the opposition did in fact go and take a dip at the Maha Kumbh. There were many, many leaders across political parties where the opposition was concerned, and they did take that dip. Let's play those visuals out. And I'm going to bring in Ghanshyam Tiwari, because let's look at those visuals very quickly. Okay, we're going to play them out in just... All right, okay. We're going to play those visuals out in just about 10 seconds. But Ghanshyam Tiwari, I want to, pull you into this conversation with what... the language that has been used. Kumbh faltu hai, Mrityu Kumbh. The intention might be to bring up the lapses in terms of administration, but it seemed to be an attack on the festival itself, on the faith, which the crores of Hindus ride on. Do you think that was the mistake? The opposition got its language incorrect?
Good evening, Preeti, to you, my fellow co-panelists and the viewers, and I wish everyone the blessings of Lord Shiva on Mahashivratri. There are three things that are important. One, Kumbh is a lived experience, as one of your guests mentioned, and that lived experience is a civilizational journey. It's our faith. BJP has tried to appropriate the faith, whether it is Ram Temple or whether it is Kumbh, and it has not worked out for them, at least in 2024. As far as opposition is concerned, when a party showers or a government that created a budget of 7,500 crores showers petal when dead bodies are lying, people are injured, the news has not been broken, somebody has to ask questions, somebody has to justify. When a railway minister becomes a rail minister, the prime minister's suit that was auctioned for 10 lakh rupees, that is the amount of compensation given to the murderous mismanagement that led to victims in the stampede in Delhi, on Delhi railway station. So those questions will be asked. One can criticize the language and BJP can be critical on it, but their tone and tonality of that criticism is to appropriate the religion. Let me tell you that those people who believe that just gratifying people by appropriating religion is the end game of governance in India, they will be in for rude shocks, because when the summer comes, they will see people battling for daily dignities of life, daily livelihood issues, things that BJP will never solve, because they want to believe in their propaganda, they want to believe in this shortcut that by appropriating the religious ceremonies and the religious journeys of people as a mass, they will win in politics. My final point is the whole purpose of dumbing down people by calling out 65 crore. If you look at the census, there are 43 crore children in India under the age of 14. There will be at least 15 crore over the age of 65. So BJP government is saying that out of 80 crore adults between 14 and 65 in India, 80 crore individuals, 65 crore have taken a dip. These numbers are being thrown out at people just to
Ghanshyam Tiwari, the fact is, stay with that, stay with that thought. I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to circle back to that thought that you just, floated. The fact is, you're saying these numbers are suspect. The possibility also is somewhere down the line, Ghanshyam Tiwari, that the numbers might be suspect, even if it is 10 crores less, even if it is 15 crores less. Look at the numbers, the sheer volume of people who've actually gone there. Okay, so what we are playing out right now is all the opposition leaders who have gone ahead, taken a dip. We're going to play this out later in just about a minute. I want to ask our producers to put up the, there was mismanagement. And I want to bring in Radhika Khera on it. And there was nothing wrong that the opposition did, Radhika Khera, by talking about the administrative failure which happened at multiple levels. Number one, the two stampedes that took place. Number two, the stampede in Delhi that took place, the fires that were there. And I would think the overarching point is the biggest administrative failure is to try and whitewash and suggest you were doing such a fabulous job when ultimately you were ill-equipped to deal with the number. So let's say there were 64 crore people. There were only 12 crores at the Kumbh Trimbakeshwar that took place in 2013. And we were clearly ill-equipped, but we wanted to make it seem that we had it all under control. That is something that will stay in days to come as well.
हर हर महादेव सभी को महाशिवरात्रि की बहुत-बहुत शुभकामनाएं. And before I answer your question, I would like to put this forward in front of your audience that this Mahakumbh will be remembered as the grandest spiritual gathering in human history, a testament to India's eternal Sanatan Dharma, where over 64 crore devotees, which is almost equivalent to the population of Europe, which is about 70 odd crores, have showcased not just faith and devotion, but also India's unmatched organizational capability of Yogi Adityanath ji under Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji's leadership. This Kumbh will also be remembered, Preeti, for how it has exposed the hypocrisy of those who pretend to respect Hindu traditions only for votes. The Congress, which has ridiculed Sanatan at every step, they couldn't resist mocking the Kumbh. We remember what Mallikarjun Kharge, the national president of the Congress party, he insulted all these, each and every 60 member person of the 65 crore people who took a holy dip by calling it a BJP event and saying isse garibi dur nahi hogi. So I'm waiting for an answer to know when the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka or the Chief Minister of Himachal, his own Congress leaders like Abhishek Manu Singhvi or Sachin Pilot go and take a dip. Katini poverty dur kari. Really waiting. And this also will always remind each and every Sanatan Dharma follower that Rahul Gandhi, who is a Janeudhari Hindu, a great Shiv Bhakt, he was missing with his family from Kumbh. Okay. Having said that, I would also like to remind everyone, crores gathered, yet not a single devotee was caught spitting into someone's food or drink or offering food full of spit. No hate slogans, no calls for violence, no incitement against any faith. Let me complete. I need to say this.
Radhika Khera, I want to come back to that. 1 second, ma'am. Allow me a counter. I'm the anchor. No, allow me a counter. I just want to know what you mean by, I just want to know, what are you trying to insinuate when you say nobody was caught in spitting somebody's food?
Yeah, I will tell you.
Why would you make that comment?
Why should I not?
I'm asking you. I am asking you why.
Let me complete.
What do you mean by that? Is it insinuation? What are you trying to say?
When you let me complete, you will know. Like I said, no hate slogans, no call for violence, not a single person raised genocidal slogans against another religion. No one claimed that any other religious property was theirs. No separate ghats for anyone from different ghats. The Dalits, the Brahmins, the Jats, the Agarwals, everyone bathed together in the same sacred water. Everyone who has been talking about...
What do you mean? I'll come back. You know what? Stay with that thought. I'll give you some time to think about it. And I'll circle back to it. What do you mean nobody was caught in spitting in somebody's food? I'll come back to that. Ma'am, allow me to open up the debate. I'll come back to that. I'll circle back to it. I want to bring in the Congress spokesperson in all of this because there was a point that Radhika Khera raised. And it's a pertinent point, Pooja Tripathi. And the reason why is because the BJP constantly raises a point that you're opportunists when it comes down to the Hindu faith. You become Chunavi Hindus. The fact, Pooja Tripathi, is that maybe now, but that wasn't the position that the Congress has taken forever. If you remember, when the Britishers had banned the Kumbh, it was Pandit Nehru who went and took a dip there. I'll play out the entire chronology on how the Congress has been associated with the Kumbh right from the time of 1954 when Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru publicly took a bath at the Kumbh, where Indira Gandhi, we're going to play our graphics out for that, where Indira Gandhi visited Allahabad, where Sonia Gandhi in 2001 went to Allahabad Kumbh. All of that has happened. I'll also play out visuals, Pooja Tripathi, of Priyanka Gandhi, who till very recently in 2023 was seen doing the Narmada Aarti. So clearly your top brass are practicing Hindus. In politics, optics matter. Why is it that the Gandhis haven't gone and taken a dip? Why distance yourself from something which is clearly connected and being displayed by crores of Hindus in this country?
Preeti, let me open up by saying that, massive respect to the people, who turned out in large numbers, 64 crores. If the 65 crore number is correct, they turned out in large numbers for the celebration of religion, celebration of spirituality. They transcended physical discomfort and they didn't complain. But I really like the topic of the debate. When you ask why our leaders, maybe they didn't want to get into this thing of VIP and non-VIP ghats and not add to the woes of the common people. If you say this, if having a dip in the Kumbh, today Rahul Gandhi is at Omkareshwar in Ujjain celebrating Mahashivratri, and they have been practicing Hindu. I am a practicing Hindu. Everybody's practicing Hindu, and each one of our leaders that went there went in their personal capacity, and everybody is free to profess, practice, and propagate their religion. And and nobody should be able to give us the certificates of Sanatan or Hindu just because we'll say in 2013 Narendra Modi ji didn't go to the Kumbh, or 2025 Mohan Bhagwat ji didn't go to the. We are not raising this question, so I think this is a very irrelevant question to raise. We are Hindus and we are proud of our shared culture, and we will practice it, and we don't want certificates of Hinduism from Bharatiya Janata Party. Having said that,
I'm going to come back. Okay, I need to get into a break, but we're going to let Nick go, who's been very sitting patiently and listening to all of us. But Nick, you're writing a book now on the Prayagraj Kumbh. What is your biggest takeaway that you're going to put in there, other than, of course, faith, spirituality, the pull, the draw of the Kumbh? What?
Prayagraj is the forgotten heart of India. Over thousands of years, power has projected itself at the Sangam. we're having a discussion about politics and power right now. That is entirely within the historical tradition. We've had Akbar building a fort, we had Jahangir declaring independence, we had the British signing the Treaty of Allahabad at the Akbar fort, we had the British reading Victoria's proclamation, ending East India Company, beginning British Raj. You mentioned first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru in 1954, but also the first President Rajendra Prasad, 3 years as a Kalpvas. You can go back to Harshvardhan in the 7th century. So historically, power, but also agriculture, also spirituality, the history of the Sangam, of the Doab, is absolutely at the heart of India.
All right, before I let you go, one quick question. You know, what's, as per you, how is India looked at now, abroad, in the Europe, in the United Kingdom?
I think there is...
Is there talk of the Kumbh?
Yeah, of course there is, but there's this, I mean, I think there's disbelief that it's possible to even organize something on this scale. So on the one hand, it's extraordinary, the devotion of people that are willing to attend an event like this, but also it's extraordinary how it's able to be organized.
Okay. All right, Nick, appreciate guests, but the visuals there on your television screen of all the opposition leaders that took a dip this time. Some of them missing, conspicuous by their absence. I want to go back to Ashutosh, one of our panelists. Ashutosh, some of the questions that will be raised, which we did touch upon earlier, is how the opposition dealt with some things that were very clear. Mismanagement, number one, administratively ill-equipped, number two. All of that aside, when you look at it, Ashutosh, there's political messaging, there are optics. Leaders who criticized the mismanagement still went ahead and took that dip because they understood that that kind of optics is important for political messaging. Some didn't.
See, Preeti, I'm really opposed to a certain kind of attempt to convert Kumbh art to Hindu religion, a kind of religion. See, the Hindu religion is such a Virat religion that it allows you to many interpretations. And I take it from a different angle altogether. Look at, if you read Dayanand Saraswati, his understanding of religion is altogether very different. He didn't believe into the ritualism of religion. If the religion is reduced to only a festival of rituals, then what about the Gyan Marg, which talks about, which has been talked in Vedas and in Upanishad, which really takes you to an internal journey, which is really a spiritual journey. If I do not take a dip in Kumbh, that means I am not a Hindu, or somebody who has taken a dip, he's a better Hindu. If that is what we have reduced our religion is, then I'm sorry to say this. What about Kabir? Kabir says, "Kathauti mein Ganga, man changa to kathauti mein Ganga." And in his last days, he said, "I will not die in Banaras," because the saying is, anybody who's dying in Banaras go to Swarg. He went, I'm going to Maghar. He went to Maghar. So will you call Kabir a lesser Hindu or a bigger Hindu? So I'm only trying to tell you, say is that today, if Baba Saheb Ambedkar has been here, if Dayanand Saraswati has been here, Mahatma Gandhi has been here, we all would have branded him as anti-Hindu because his understanding of Hinduism is very different. Look at Mallikarjun Kharge. Who is Mallikarjun Kharge? Mallikarjun Kharge is a Dalit. Lalu Prasad Yadav is an OBC. Akhilesh Yadav is an OBC. Their understanding of religion, of Hindu religion, their understanding of Kumbh can be entirely different. So why we just want to reduce Hindu religion to a kind of a religion, and that is what the BJP is trying, and that is my objection.
Ashutosh, I want to come back to you, and maybe you can touch upon it later. Because at one end, yes, you're right, but flip it around, Ashutosh, because, for example, the Gandhis, if you look at lineage-wise, right from Pandit Nehru, they have been associated with the Kumbh. And right from 1954, actually even before that. And then suddenly you see a distance where it comes down to the Kumbh. And I'm only talking about the Kumbh. And you proclaim, to be believers. You proclaim to be practicing Hindus. So isn't political message so very important right now, Ashutosh? I'll come back to you. I'll circle back on that point. Can I respond? I'll come back to you. But Karan Verma, why is it every time that, the nuance of being Hindu is one whitewash, that if you say anything, if Mr. Kharge says something else, is contrived as anti-Hindu? If a Mamta Banerjee, who might not have got her language right, but the BJP, because She intended to only speak of the mismanagement, the deaths that took place. Therefore, she called it Mrityu Kumbh. But it's immediately turned around and being labeled someone who's only preaching to her core constituency.
So, Preeti, no one has said that if you don't go to the Kumbh, you are a lesser Hindu. Nobody has used this language. But what has rattled the opposition, I would say, and especially Lalu Prasad Yadav and Akhilesh Yadav, is they cannot stomach the fact that the Kumbh is a symbol of Sanatan unity. Nobody is seeing anyone's caste, and their entire politics is predicated on caste divisions. Whether it's PDA, whether it is Agada Pichda, they cannot stomach the fact that this unity is actually spelling doom for their politics. So it's they who are trying to politicize it. It's they who can't stomach this unity, and it's them who are trying to politicizing. I am absolutely fine with anyone raising questions on whether certain things could have been better from an administrative point of view. But why criticize the Kumbh? And for Ashutosh ji, Ashutosh ji, the beauty of our faith is that ekam sat vipraha bahuda vadanti. You can arrive it from different ways. The word Kumbh comes from Rigved. So of course it is a Sanatan Virasat. It also comes from our Puranas. It also has an astronomical connotation to it. So we are all welcome to, analyze it in the way we want. Who has said that, somebody is a lesser Hindu if they don't go to the Kumbh or if they view it differently? That's fine. That's welcome. That's the beauty of our diversity.
Okay, that's the beauty of our diversity. But, Ghanshyam Tiwari, I'll come back to the same question that Ashutosh raised, that certain political leaders can have a very different understanding of the Kumbh. But your political leader of your party is also an OBC, Ghanshyam Tiwari. He has been on the front foot, constantly calling out the mismanagement, the administrative failure. But he also made sure that he went there, he took that dip, and those visuals were not shared privately. Samajwadi Party media team was the first to put out those visuals. So you really spoke to a constituency and saying that I'm a believer, I am doing this because this is important to me, and BJP is not the sole custodian of the Hindu faith, which possibly your allies are not getting. You're on mute, Ghanshyam.
It reverts back to the title, that what the Kumbh will be remembered for. One bizarre story it will always be remembered for was when dead bodies were lying there. A government had not announced the tragedy that has happened. That government has still not announced the number of deaths properly. That they were showering petals. This is the BJP that we are dealing with. A BJP that will run its propaganda, numb you down with numbers. So as far as Akhilesh Yadav is concerned, he is not in the daily habit of passing the BJP's test of being a Sanatani or not being a Sanatani. The day Yogi Adityanath used Ganga Jal to wash the CM's residence after Akhilesh Yadav ji had vacated, Akhilesh Yadav ji had already failed Yogi Adityanath's fake test of Sanatani. That's not the issue. Issue is don't give them easy wins. They are a party that will run propaganda. They will shower petals on dead bodies to make you believe that everything is fine.
So Ghanshyam Tiwari, are you of the opinion that your allies are giving the BJP an easy win, especially when it comes down to be labelled as the custodians of Hindutva?
No, I think living by their daily certificates of whether you are Hindu or not, whether you are nationalist or not, giving them that right itself is an easy win. So I think it is important that every political party wears their value on their sleeves and at the same time aggressively takes on BJP and does not forget that you are facing a party that will shower dead.
Fair point. Ghanshyam Tiwari, that, it's a point which seems to be lost on some of your allies to wear your faith on your sleeve but yet call out what you think is right. I want to cut across back to the BJP spokesperson who is still with us right now, Radhika Khera. Radhika Khera, one, because it's disconcerting when you say that at least nobody spat in it. So would you like to clarify what you said? Just
no, why should I
what
clarify
you meant by
it?
that?
Why
What
should
were
I
you
clarify
insinuating, number one?
No,
Hear the question out. You'll have ample time to speak. I'm just saying it's disconcerting to use words like at least nobody spat. Just asking, what do you mean by that? What was the insinuation, number one? Number two, Radhika Khera, the fact is because, and I'll ask that question again because you didn't answer it the last time around, just because somebody raises questions on what is wrong with the governance, administration, management of an event doesn't make them against the event.
I spoke in very simple English, and what I said is what I meant. And that is a fact that this is a gathering of over 60 crore people over there. And none of this happened. That has been happening. That has been done again and again by everyone. That nobody says a word about it. Nobody has ever gone on to criticize this. They have come up with things. So I will state facts. A fact is a fact that did not happen. So I will raise that, and I stand by my words. I have not said anything wrong. Saying the truth is not anything wrong. Having said that, coming back to what happened, the stampede, the deaths that happened, they were very unfortunate incidents. They should not have happened. But we managed to control them in a population of 60 crore, and 60 crore people are coming in every day, having to manage crowds. I'm sorry, I beg to differ when you say that we have failed in providing organization or making it a better place. Over 65 crore, nowhere in the world has such a gathering ever happened. And yet we managed to make it go by the way it did. And you had even someone who does not belong to the country who was writing a book. He was right here telling you what exactly he could manage to take his daughter, his children, his wife over there. So that just shows how easy it was. And every time your correspondent has gone to someone over there, they've all of them have said, हाँ ठीक है चलना पड़ा. हम जब जाते हैं किसी भी धर्म स्थली पर तपस्या करनी पड़ती है. And what surprises me even more is that everybody is raising questions कि कुंभ में ये हुआ ऐसा हुआ. Has anyone ever had the guts to ask or question the stampede at Kharge? There were many Indians who died over there. Did anyone from the opposition raise a question? No one raised a question. No one ever raises a question on anything. But yet, when anything related to Sanatan Dharma happens, and when you're talking about her, हम नहीं कहते, हमने नहीं कहा राहुल गांधी जनेऊधारी ब्राह्मण है. We never said he's a Shiv Bhakt. When Ashutosh ji was saying that we are raising questions, sir, they
I'm running out of time and I want to get all of you back in for 30 seconds each. But Pooja Tripathi wants to respond to you. Go ahead, Pooja Tripathi. Then I'm going to take a quick roundup.
Sanatan, for the first instance, teaches you humility. And when you come on national television and say nobody spat on somebody, I think it just dilutes the very essence of the biggest religious gathering that you're talking about. This is a very violent, toxic statement to make on national television. Karan was just saying nobody is labeling you Hindu or anti-Hindu. Acharya Dhirendra Shastri said, "Jo kumbh nahi gaye wo deshdrahi hai." Prime Minister Modi was sharing stage. Swami Avek Bhukteshwaranand Saraswati, they'll go and label him as anti-Hindu. Swami Mithilesh Nandani Dhar from Ayodhya, you labeled him as anti-Hindu. When the akhadas were suspending their Shahi Snan, there was Pushpa Varsha that was going on just when the numbers of the casualty were even not out. We are talking about the political messaging, the gift, the sewer, Sanatan Virodhi bas utsav karte rahe aur.
Okay, I want to go back to all of you. But, Pooja, one big question which your own ally raised, wear your faith on your sleeve. It's important because you're a political outfit. Along with all the other communities that you cater to, even though, you want a caste census, but ultimately that monolith called Hindu, you also cater to that. And Ghanshyam Tiwari had a big point in that. But 20 seconds each, Ashutosh, I'll begin with you. What do you think this Kumbh will be remembered for?
See, I think it's sad that the Kumbh has been remembered for the politics which has come around it. The time has come and we all Hindus have to understand there is no one kind of a Hindu religion per se. Narayan Guru's understanding of Hindu religion is very different. Periyar's understanding of religion is very different. The Tamilan understanding of Hinduism very religion, and Bengal understanding of Hinduism very different. So this attempt to thrust an upper caste understanding of Hinduism on the entire Hindu population is something
that needs to change.
I am really opposed to. We have to understand there is a Dalit understanding of Hinduism, there is an OBC understanding of Hindu religion.
Karan Verma, would you want to? I want to quickly cut across to Karan Verma. Same question, Karan Verma. How will we remember this Kumbh?
So this Kumbh should be remembered as a jewel in our shining crown of achievements. Just as our nationalistic fervor comes to the fore when we win a World Cup or an Olympic medal, this should be right up there, and we deserve to pat ourselves on the back because we've pulled off something that no one could have thought of. 65 crore people. We don't need lessons from event management gurus in Harvard or Stanford. In fact, we are the ones who can give them lessons, and we must take pride with that.
Ghanshyam Tiwari, 20 seconds, same question, sir. Each one of you.
We are a spiritual country where the spirit of Hindu philosophy is visible at Kumbh. The faith in the philosophy, as well as the determination of people that even if the government does not make proper arrangements, even if the trains are overcrowded, even if they have to walk kilometers, they will go. But it will also be remembered for a dishonest government who wants to appropriate this faith because they don't want to give the same citizens the benefits.
Radhika Khera.
This Kumbh will be remembered that Sanatan stands tall, unshaken and eternal. This is the real essence of Sanatan Dharma, peaceful, inclusive and eternal. And no amount of mockery, no amount of propaganda or political opportunism can ever diminish its strength. As much as people may like to build their politics on the foundation of Hindu hatred, they will all crumble.
Okay.
And Sanatan
Pooja
Dharma will
Tripathi,
stand
20
strong.
seconds, ma'am. Please go ahead.
I think this Kumbh will be remembered for the unmatched power of spirituality by the common people. But this Kumbh will also be remembered, Preeti, for the lack of accountability and running away from accountability and turning the Aam Aadmi casualty into sterile numbers. This is what I have taken part.
All right. You know what I'm going to do is I've run out of time. That's it. Thank you, all our guests, for joining us. We're going to leave you with the slew of celebrities that also came to the Kumbh. There were quite a few influencers. One of them, of course, became a celebrity, which was Mona Lisa, a woman who was selling trinkets just for her sheer beauty. She caught the world's imagination, whoever came there. But other than that, all the stars coming in for the Kumbh. Leaving you with that, where you stand and what the Kumbh will be remembered for, we leave it to you.